In this video, we'll talk about how we can integrate PostgreSQL with our Spring Boot REST API application. So the usual way of doing this is by first downloading the PostgreSQL database, and which you can do it in this on this link. And once it's done, make sure that you have a PostgreSQL UI from which you can actually add and remove your tables, add database, etc., etc. So I will show you what you can do to actually download this and how to also download the PostgreSQL UI. So I currently use a Mac. So for that, I use a Mac OS operating system and I download the package. Once it is done, PostgreSQL gives you a very nice and handy UI using which you can actually spawn a terminal of your own for each and every database which you have, and then use that to actually use your PostgreSQL database. So let's get started. The first thing which you need to do is download PostgreSQL, and once you're done, let's open it up now. So it's the Postgres app, and yes, check automatically. And as you can see, my server is running now, and you'll get PostgreSQL by default as a database and also a template one. So first, what we do is click on template one. So let me just take this one as my database, and just to show you what happens. So once you click on that, it opens a nice terminal. So let me increase the size of the terminal. Yeah, so I'm inside the template one database, and if you want to see the tables inside now, you can see that there are two tables, to do and to do, which I've made, but we'll make another table using which we'll be integrating a Spring Boot REST API application. So this is how the terminal looks, and make sure that you have PostgreSQL downloaded and installed before you start the video. So yeah, now that we have our PostgreSQL database, the next thing which we need to do is make sure that we update our application properties, because this is where the major changes of our application are to be done. So if you are new to this video and new to the Spring Boot application REST API videos, then make sure to watch my playlist on this channel, and I'll just give you a quick overview of what is happening in this REST API application. So this is a to-do list API, and you have a to-do entity here, which is going to be using these attributes. It's going to have an ID, title, summary, description, and all of the stuff, setters and getters, parameters, constructors. This is then controlled by a to-do controller, which has the API endpoints for our to-do list API. And the business logic resides in to-do service, which has everything from get all to-dos, get to-do, create to-do, etc., etc. And the last thing is the repository, which handles our implementation for JPA, in this case Hibernate. So we'll be using this to actually make sure that we have our basic implementations for save, find all, etc., etc., ready. So this is how our uh, API is in a nutshell. So the first thing which you need to do after you have installed Postgres is first have the PostgreSQL dependency. So this is the dependency here, and just install it. Remove the Spring MySQL dependency that you have. Just make sure you have PostgreSQL, and should be downloaded within no time. And then right click, go to Maven, and click on Update Project, and it will automatically have it in your Maven dependencies. So when that is done, the next thing which you need to do is change the dialect. So dialect is basically how Hibernate implements its native SQL queries for you. So the Hibernate dialect for PostgreSQL is this. So I'm just copy it from here. I just did a Google search for this, nothing complicated, and just paste it here. Great. The next thing which you need to do is change your URL. So let me just do this for now. We don't need the username and password. We just need the database location. So let's see how you can generate a PostgreSQL. Yeah, right here. So this is how it looks like, your PostgreSQL URL. So we need JDBC. So JDBC is your API which connects it to your application. And now that we have done this, we need to go into template one. So template one is our database here, which we are accessing using this terminal. We are template one. Okay, so now what we have to do is create a new table. And let's say the name of the table is going to be to do table. Not the best name, but we'll make do for now. So now that we have a to do table name, so let's do it to do table. We need to make this table inside our template one database. So for that, what we can do is we can do a create table to do table, and then have all of our attributes. So first we have is the ID. So ID int primary key. Next is going to be the title. So title varchar 64. The next thing is summary varchar 64, and the last thing is description varchar, and it's going to be 64 as well. So these are all the attributes that we have inside our to do table, and let's hit enter, and you see that it has created a table. Just to confirm if the table has been created or not, let's do a slash gt. As you can see, you have a to do table as your table inside your database. So now that we have made our to do table inside it, make sure that the name is also the same here to map it to your object, which is called object relational mapping. This is ready. The form is ready. We don't need the controller now, and all you have to do is now run your Spring API, and let's see that it has actually started our implementation of connected PostgreSQL successfully or not. So as you can see, this server is spawning up. No errors so far, so we're good to go. And yeah, we have started the to-do list server. So now to check whether our database is working or not, go to Postman, do a get of to-dos, which should give us an empty list for now. So as you can see, an empty list. So let's add some data. So do a post body. I will give it as 1. Let's have the task as do lead code every day, or let's just make it a bit funny now. One lead code a day keeps unemployment. Oh wait, great. The summary is going to be invert a B tree. Description same as summary, and we don't need the author for now. So this is how our ID is, and let's post this now. So do a send, and the status is 200. Okay, so let's do a get, and we should be getting our data back. So yes, I think I missaid the title a bit, but this is how you actually connect your PostgreSQL database to your Spring Boot application. So let's rewind and see what we did here. So the first thing which you need to do is download PostgreSQL for your operating system. After that, open it up. You'll be having PostgreSQL, and then if you want, you can initialize a new database. Make sure you double click on that and then connect to your terminal. Increase the font if you want to, because it's really small. And once that is done, you can then create a table here as I did. Go to your application properties, change the dialect and also the URL, and you're good to go. So that is how you integrate an external database as PostgreSQL into your Spring Boot application. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.